Today's story begins in another world, where our hero, Akatsuki Osawa, is being pursued by beautiful maids. But, in order to shake them off, he removes the bra from each maids. Those maids were assigned by Queen Listy to prevent Akatsuki from returning to his world because she had a crush on him. However, Akatsuki can't stay in this world because he was killing the Dark Lord and bringing peace. However, when Akatsuki killed the Dark Lord, he only had one request, that he protect his daughter, Miyu, from harm. So he brought her to the world and returned to their respective worlds with incredible power. So the government established an academy, however, they cannot simply state that Miyu is the daughter of the Dark Lord of that world. So they made up a story about her being the Akatsuki's long-lost sister who was summoned years ago and reunited with her in that world. So an instructor was assigned to the job to test their power level in a specific class, and given Miyu's background, she defeated him in a single spell so quickly that he couldn't even get up to test Akatsuki's level. So, to round out the evaluation, the student council president created an ice pillar filled with mana to put him to the test. Naturally, a normal guy would not have been able to break the ice with just his fist, but Akatsuki demonstrated it except for Shiguchi. She warned Akatsuki to leave his seat because it had been reserved by a troublemaker, and as a result of the uproar, the discipline committee reported him to the student council for his extravagant behavior. The press chose to ignore it, but one of their members did not. Her name is Haruka, and she wanted to teach Akatsuki a lesson to stay in his limits, but Akatsuki rules say never to attack a girl directly, but to take their panties and bra to make them drop out of the fight. Apart from that, they met the class rep named Kazuha, and after the training, Miyu, Akatsuki, and Kazuha were on cleaning duty. However, they discovered that Shiguchi was a lesbian, and being embarrassed from being caught, that girl ran away and shut the door behind them. That means they're trapped inside until someone opens it up from the outside. It wouldn't have been a problem if they only had to wait a while. But Kazuha had a nature's call that she couldn't ignore, so Akatsuki used his energy manipulation technique on Miyu and Shiguchi to put them under pressure as well to compass there, giving Akatsuki what he deserved and fleeing the moment Haruka opened the door. Anyway, as the story progresses, Haruka criticizes Kazuha for this incident. Because she was the youngest in the academy and the class representative, she was getting to know the situation. So seeing her mood, Akatsuki took Kazuha to Manga Cafe. Miyu and Shiguchi followed Akatsuki and Kazuha. Got a little intimate to make her understand that she needed to relax a little, be honest with herself, and learn to speak up for herself. She understood what he meant, but Miyu and Shiguchi misinterpreted that Akatsuki had done something to her in the room. So on another day, their training regimen was to fight because a protective barrier had been deployed and the monster's attack had been reduced to its bare minimum by the system. However, for some reason, Akatsuki was unable to summon his weapon and was pitted against Akatsuki would defeat him this time. And for that, he even raised the monster's level a little to teach. The monster got out of control, and while protecting Miyu, Shiguchi and Kazuha were hit. She held monster's attack a little longer, and Akatsuki arrived with the massive black sword in his hand. He realized that one band wasn't enough to conjure his weapon, so he snatched several from others. In the academy, the student was supposed to join the army, where he believes everyone becomes a murderer, so he wanted to prevent them all from becoming future murderers. But, just as the show was about to begin, the student council president, Kyoya, enslaved him in his ice and arrested him. Normally, everyone avoided Akatsuki in school due to his overpower, but he came straight at him and they became friends. After a few days, Motor Haru took him to his garage to test out an amazing bike that was known to be so fast that it could even break the sound barrier, and it was made by Kaido. But no one had been able to handle it until now, so Akatsuki gave it a shot and it hit right on the money. Haruka, the student council vice president, was not pleased and touched the bike, and because that bike doesn't allow anyone to touch it, she lost her clothes, so Akatsuki offered her his jacket to cover up. But there was an emergency call for Haruka regarding a terrorist attack, so she immediately left to save the hostages' lives. But one of them took a little girl to make a safe escape, and the other three were helpless. But, thanks to Akatsuki, he saved the girl and gave credit to Haruka. Aside from that, Motor Haru correctly predicted the present and what is his true identity. Stay tuned for the second half of this video and subscribe for the most recent update.